Eruawi, Eruawi.
As a child, Vishwa walked a long way to get to school. As a college student, he tutored two children to make ends meet. And as an engineer, he built dams, bridges, and institutions and the foundation for a modern India. Read this book to know how Sir M. Visvesvaraya observed the world around him, learnt from it, made bold decisions, and never shied away from hard work. The title of the story, Sir M. Visvesvaraya, the builder of dams, bridges, and a nation. Written by Mala Kumar, illustrated by Krupa Thakur Patil, Sachin Pandit, and Sheshadri Mokshagundam. Photographs by Vishveshwaraya National Memorial Trust. The story is published by Pratham Books, narrated by Asavari Doshi. For more such interesting stories, visit our website www.booksthatspeak.com. Let's begin with the story. The books fell down as Mangala reached for an old trunk. Amma came running. "Ah, my Sir M.V. book," she said and picked it up. "He autographed it for Muttaji, you see." Mangala sat next to her mother. "Did you know your great-grandmother went to college only because of him?" Amma asked. "But wasn't Sir M.V. was an engineer? What did he have to do with Muttaji's education?" asked Mangala. "Oh yes, he was an engineer and he built bridges and dams and buildings, but he also did so much more. You know what? Tomorrow let's go to Muddenhalli, the place where he was born." In the small village of Muddenhalli near present-day Bengaluru is a house surrounded by rocky hills. Here a baby boy was born on September 15, 1860. Next to his house is a small office that he built when he became an engineer. The office is now a museum. Each exhibit tells a story about this engineer, Sir Mokshagundam Visvesvaraya. Now, that's a really long name, so people started referring to him as Sir M.V. His friends called him Vishwa. As a young boy, Vishwa had to walk a long way to school. Looking at his precariously frail build, a teacher is supposed to have remarked that he would not live long. But this did not worry young Vishwa or his family. All they wanted was for him to have a good education. When he was 15, Vishwa's father passed away. He continued his schooling in Chikkaballapura and Bengaluru and then studied arts in Central College. He barely had money. Luckily, a couple took him in. In return for board, lodging, and a small sum of money, he tutored their two children. Vishwa graduated in 1881 and got a scholarship to study civil engineering at the College of Science in Pune. He topped the course. When Visvesvaraya graduated from Central College, Bengaluru, Principal Charles Waters presented him with a dictionary. Visvesvaraya used it for the next 80 years. A very thrifty person, he once said in a speech, "If you buy what you do not need, you will need what you cannot buy." As the university topper, Visvesvaraya was appointed assistant engineer in the Public Works Department of the Government of Bombay. Within months, he built a structure called a siphon to bring water from the Panjra River to a village called Datari. While there, he came to work from the camp office across Panjra River. How did he travel to work? On horseback, of course, since this was in 1884. One evening, it rained so hard that the river was flooded and Visvesvaraya could not ride back to the traveller's bungalow. For 2 days, the villagers of Nandavan and Datari offered him food and accommodation. But on the third morning, he had to return to the camp office. What did he do? He just swam back with the help of his bhil workers. Can you imagine how strong he had become contrary to that early prediction? Vishveshwaraya's public works, which started then, went on for over 7 decades. Vishveshwaraya was passionate about water conservation. He designed many water supply, drainage, and irrigation systems across the country. Vishveshwaraya also designed or advised on water supply systems in Aden, that is now in Yemen, Kolhapur, Indore, Gwalior, Bhopal, Nagpur, Goa, Rajkot, Bhavnagar, Baroda, Sangli, and across Bihar and Odisha. 1894, service in Sindh. Designed a water filtration system on the riverbed to supply clean water to Sukkur in Sindh, now in Pakistan. 1889. New irrigation system designed a system of irrigation for the Bombay Presidency that could distribute water to large blocks of land and increase the output of crops. It was called the block system of irrigation. 1908. Drainage for Hyderabad. Cyclonic rains caused the Musi River to flood. Thousands of people were killed. The Nizam of Hyderabad invited Vishveshwaraya to design a drainage and water supply system to prevent such losses. Automatic sluice gates. The Khadakwasla Reservoir, Pune's water source, would overflow every monsoon, but the water that it could hold was not enough for the summer. Vishveshwaraya designed a system of automatic gates that increased the capacity of the reservoir, which he patented as the automatic sluice gates. Similar systems were installed in Tigra Dam near Gwalior and Krishnaraj Sagar Dam near Mysuru. In 1909, after he finished his work as a consulting engineer in Hyderabad, Vishveshwaraya received a telegram from the Diwan of Mysore offering him the post of chief engineer. But Vishveshwaraya was no longer interested in routine work. So he asked if he could work on developing industries and technical education in the state. The government agreed. Sri Krishnaraja Vadiyar IV, the Maharaja of Mysore, asked him to design a dam across the river Kaveri. Previously, Vishveshwaraya had visited large irrigation projects like the Aswan Dam in Egypt. He had observed how engineers there worked and came up with a design for the Krishnaraj Sagar Dam. Built over many years, it is a spectacular construction and thousands of people still visit it every day. In 1912, when KRS Dam was built, it supplied power to the Kolar gold fields. It had a tunnel that was nearly 3 kilometers long, bored through a hill range. It led to the cultivation of sugarcane, giving rise to large sugar mills in the region. It was the largest dam in India. In 1912, the Maharaja offered the post of Diwan to Vishveshwaraya, but he was anxious to have opportunities to develop technical education and industries in the state, and he did not want any high office. However, the Maharaja insisted and Vishveshwaraya became the Diwan. As someone who knew the worth of a good education, Vishveshwaraya wanted to set up schools and colleges. During his period as Diwan, between 1912 and 1918, the number of educational institutions in the state went up from just 4,568 to 11,294. The Maharani's College in Mysuru became the first in the state to include degree courses for women. Vishveshwaraya was also responsible for starting technical education colleges, engineering colleges, and agriculture education. He introduced compulsory education, which is now a fundamental right in the Indian Constitution. On a visit to his old school in Muddenhalli, he gave a packet of chocolates to the students. When he was asked to give a speech, Sir M.V. spoke only for 5 minutes because he was not prepared. Unhappy with that, he came back a few days later with a well-prepared speech. When he resigned as chairman of the Mysore Iron Works, which he founded, a large sum of money was due to him. Vishveshwaraya wanted it to be used to start a college where boys could learn a profession. So the Sri Jayachamrajendra Occupational Institute was set up in Bengaluru. It is now called Sri Jayachamrajendra Polytechnic. The first Ganesha made at the Mysore Iron Works, later renamed Vishveshwaraya Iron and Steel Plant. Now the institutions that Sir M.V. helped to set up. Government Engineering College, renamed University Vishveshwaraya College of Engineering, Bengaluru. Hebbal Agricultural School that led to the formation of University of Agricultural Sciences. Sri Jayachamrajendra Polytechnic College, Bengaluru. Mysore University. By now, Visveshwaraya was recognized for his work as an engineer and a leader in many parts of the country. In 1915, while he was the Diwan of Mysore, the British government made him a Knight Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire, KCIE. From then on, he was called Sir M. Visveshwaraya. The visionary that he was, Vishveshwaraya visited factories and big construction projects in many countries, not only to provide them with his services, but also to see how he could bring development to India. He felt India's poverty could only be reduced if education and employment were available to everyone. He often boldly declared, industrialize or perish. But during the same time, Gandhiji used to say, industrialize and perish. Even though the two great men did not have the same views about industrialization, they respected each other. Vishveshwaraya was a very simple man. He focused almost all his energy and thoughts on nation building. He believed that all people should be respected for the work they did. During the Mysuru Dasara celebrations, British officers sat on chairs while Indian officers had to sit on the floor or remain standing at the back. Vishveshwaraya stopped going to these darbars because of the discrimination. The government noticed this and got chairs for the Indian officers too. Once when Vishveshwaraya was quite old, he wanted to go to his village. Chief Minister Kengal Hanumantayya said that he could take a government car. But as he was not going on official business, Vishveshwaraya refused. So the CM drove him in his personal car. Big buildings and structures cannot be built by a single person. Dreamers, researchers, funders, masons, laborers, and many others have to work together to build them. Sir M.V. worked hard and efficiently, inspiring everyone around him to give their best too. Once when he was on a study tour in America, Vishveshwaraya's host said that the group had to climb a 4-floor high ladder to see how a particular machine worked. Everyone was scared. Not Sir M.V. He climbed nimbly all the way to the top. He was just 85 years old. In his 90s, he was called upon by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to examine several proposals for bridges to be built over the Ganga. He first did an aerial survey of the region. No one expected him to come to inspect the rocky and dangerous terrain. Since Sir M.V. never did anything without thorough study and preparation, of course he travelled to the region to make notes. Based on the location selected by him, a road cum railway bridge was built near Mokama, Bihar. Sir M.V. was always eager to learn. When he was more than 100 years old, a relative asked him what he wanted from Chennai. Get me a good modern dictionary, he replied. The dictionary is now in the Muddenhalli Museum. Sir M.V. helped to set up the Mysore Agricultural Residential School. It later became the University of Agricultural Sciences. The rock on which he liked to sit has been named after him. Among the books in his personal library were poems of Kabir, Arabian Nights, Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer Abroad, Charles Dickens' The Pickwick Papers, Dr. Peter Schmidt's Don't Be Tired, Macmillan's Promotion of Happiness, and Rabindranath Tagore's Stray Birds. Also in the library were books that he wrote, Memoirs of My Working Life, Constructing India, Nation Building, a 5-year plan for the provinces and prosperity through industry. As an engineer and a person who valued education and discipline, Sir M.V. was an inspiration to millions of people. Among them was a boy called Ramu, who used to read out to him from the newspapers when Vishveshwaraya's eyesight became weak. He wanted Ramu to come on time, read to him, and leave for school on time. For this, Sir M.V. paid him 10 paise every day. Ramu's reading improved and he grew up to become a teacher. After he retired, he became a scoutmaster in Tumkuru and taught physical exercise, memory games, first aid and sports to children for free. Mangala and Amma had been learning about Vishveshwaraya for a week. Amma, so Muttaji could get a degree because Sir M.V. introduced graduate studies in Mysuru? Mangala asked. Amma nodded. Ajji had an account in Mysuru Bank founded by Sir M.V. Amma nodded. You worked at the Kannada Sahitya Parishad? Amma nodded again. And now I want to visit Vishveshwaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, which was set up in his memory, said Mangala. Yes, let's go there next week on his birthday, said Amma. September 15 is celebrated as National Engineers Day in honor of Sir Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya, an outstanding engineer and visionary. Vishveshwaraya helped set up the Karnataka Sahitya Parishad, later renamed Kannada Sahitya Parishad, in Bengaluru to bring together people who spoke different dialects of the language. Timeline of life events. September 15, 1860. Born to Venkat Lakshamamma and Srinivas Shastri in Muddenhalli. 1875. Went to Bengaluru to pursue BA. 1883. Graduated with a degree in civil engineering at the College of Science, Pune. 1884. Started working at PWD Government of Bombay. 1909. Appointed Chief Engineer, Mysuru. 1912. Appointed the Diwan of Mysore. 1915 became Sir M.V. when King George V of Britain made him a Knight Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire for his contributions to public good. 1955 honored with the Bharat Ratna for his contribution to engineering, education and nation building. April 14, 1962. He passed away 5 months short of his 102nd birthday.
Wow, that was fun, right? Do you want to hear more stories like this? Yes, then log on to www.booksthatspeak.com. Eruawi, Eruawi.